Question: what are the Akashic records? Akasha is a Sanskrit word and means primary substance, that out of which all things are formed. According to Aquarian philosophy, it is the first stage of the crystallization of spirit. This philosophy recognizes the fact that all primordial substance is spirit, that matter is spirit moving at a lower rate of vibration, becoming, as one master expressed it, a coagulum. This Akashic or primary substance is of exquisite fineness and is so sensitive that the slightest vibrations of an ether any place in the universe register an incredible impression upon it. This primal substance is not relegated to any particular part of the universe, but is everywhere present. It is in very fact the universal mind of which our metaphysicians speak. When the mind of man is in exact accord with the universal mind, man enters into a conscious recognition of these Akashic impressions and may collect them and translate them into any language of earth with which he is familiar. In the Infinite One manifest, we notice the attributes of force, intelligence, and love, and a person may be in full accord with one of these attributes and not with the others. One may enter fully into the spirit of the God of force and not be imbued with the spirit of intelligence, or one may be wholly absorbed with the spirit of divine love and be far removed from both intelligence and force. Furthermore, a person may enter fully into the consciousness of holy breath or supreme intelligence and be not at all in rapport with either love or force. Knowledge is not gained through the spirit of either force or love. It is only from universal mind, which is supreme intelligence, called by Oriental scholars the Akashic records, and by Hebrew masters the Book of God's remembrance, that knowledge of any kind can be obtained. Consciousness. We note three phases of it. Number 1, consciousness of the omnipotence of God and man. Number 2, Christ consciousness or consciousness of divine love. And number 3, consciousness of the holy breath or of supreme intelligence. We must bear in mind that one of these phases of consciousness does not necessarily imply either of the others. People are frequently found who are completely filled with the love of God, are far advanced in the science of Christ consciousness, who are absolutely ignorant, have not the slightest conceptions of the laws of natural things or of spiritual things, are not in rapport with the great teacher, which is the Holy Spirit. The Akashic records. The imperishable records of life, known as the Akashic records, are wholly in the domain of supreme intelligence or universal mind, and the Akashic record reader must be in such close touch with the Holy Spirit or the holy breath, as the ancient masters call the spirit of supreme intelligence, that every thought vibration is instantly felt in every fiber of his being, i.e., intuition. Differentiation. Since all space is charged with the vibrations of thoughts of all kinds, how may the Akashic record reader differentiate and gather only the thoughts and life events of a particular person or group of persons? Every person has his own distinct vibration, and when the reader fully understands the law of discrimination, his whole being is tuned for the reception of the one particular tone and rhythm, and it is impossible for any other tone or rhythm to make the slightest impression upon him. This principle is demonstrated in wireless telegraphy. It required many years for Levi to learn the law of differentiation and to come in rapport with the tones and rhythms of Jesus of Nazareth, Enoch and Melchizedek and their co-laborers. But under the direction of the Spirit of Supreme Intelligence, he has attained unto this accomplishment, and now he instantly feels in all his being the slightest vibrations that come from any of these great centers, and of course all of his transcriptions are true to the letter. Man. What is man that thou art mindful of him, or the Son of Man that thou visitest him? This was the earnest question of David, the Hebrew psalmist, and the 8th psalm is given wholly to the contemplation of man, the crowning work of manifest creation. Among the many great lessons that Levi has been permitted to gather from the Akashic records, or the universal mind, we find one on man, in which his descent into physical matter and his final ascent into an eternal oneness with God is so graphically described that it certainly merits a place in this introduction, and we give it in full. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of God cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be, because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yeah, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and is part of God. Creative fiat gave to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul, gave him a body of the flesh, that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. Why did creative fiat give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fiat give to soul a body of the flesh that it might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? Hear now, ye worlds, dominions, powers, and thrones. Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Hear now, O protoplast, and earth, and plant, and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of water, earth, and air. Hear now, everything that is, or was, or evermore will be. For wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Man is a thought of God. All thoughts of God are infinite. They are not measured up by time, for things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of God are from the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come, and so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of God, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of God, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that especial plant. So spirit man, as seed of God, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of God. Now, seeds are perfect, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child in utero is perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed, must be deep planted in a soul that he might grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of God was foreordained to be the Lord of plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So God, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth his human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast, and in the slower rhythm of this plane the essences of life are manifest, the perfumes and the odors, the true sensations and the all of love are manifest, and these soul attributes become a body beautiful. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul, and here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essences took on a garb. The perfumes and the odors and the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal nature was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of God made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the lord of all the plane of manifests, of protoplast, of mineral, of plant, of beast, but he has given up his birthright just to gratify his lower self, his carnal self. But man will full regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirits of the mighty God who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guides, and they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. Then he will stand untrammeled on the plane of soul, where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before the man upon the plane of soul. There he must overcome, overcome them every one. Thus hope will ever be his beacon light. There is no failure for the human soul, for God is leading on and victory is sure. Man cannot die, the spirit man one with God, and while God lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have full opened out, will have unfolded in the holy breath. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass and be no more. And man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and be at one with God.